Hello, all you freedom-loving people. After Musk revealed the number of dead people receiving Social Security, DOGE found $4.7 trillion in untraceable payments, and even the Department of Defense supply chain has links to the CCP. Okay, let's get into it. A Delta Airlines flight traveling from Minneapolis to Toronto apparently overturned while landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport.
Oh, no. Tower, you're seeing this airplane just crash into 3. Oh my God.
Pictures of the scene show the plane upside down and mangled on a snow-covered runway.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site. We're upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off.
It was reported that 15 people were injured and at least 3 were taken to a medical center with serious injuries. Lawrence Sandin, the Peel Regional Paramedic Service Superintendent, told Fox News Digital those 3 were critical, non-life-threatening injuries. The remaining ones are walking wounded with cuts and scrapes, nothing serious at all. There were 76 passengers and 4 crew members aboard, all of whom were rescued. Operations at the airport were suspended for about 2.5 hours after the incident. The cause of the accident is still under investigation, but bad weather may be the main factor. The Canadian Weather Service reported that the accident occurred when winds at the airport were roughly 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts near 40 miles per hour. Aviation safety expert John Cox, the CEO of Safety Operating Systems, said that the rollover was extremely rare. He said that the CRJ-900 aircraft is a model that has been proven over the years to be able to operate stably in adverse weather conditions. The weather conditions were within the aircraft's design criteria, and the pilots are trained and experienced to deal with them. Monday's crash occurred during a very turbulent season for air travel. In late January, a military Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines affiliated commercial flight from Kansas near Washington, D.C., killing 67 people. Air traffic control whistleblowers said that DEI hiring practices and the FAA's immunity program led to the helicopter plane collision. As such, the Trump administration fired approximately 300 Federal Aviation Administration employees over the weekend. Despite this, Democrats blame the Trump administration's FAA layoffs for the Delta plane crash in Toronto, Canada. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer claimed that the administration had fired the safety specialists. However, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt rejected his claims.
This crash unfortunately took place in Canadian airspace with Canadian air traffic controllers overseeing it. And the facts about the FAA are that no air traffic controllers have been let go by Secretary Duffy or this new administration. In fact, Secretary Duffy has put great emphasis on hiring the best and the brightest air traffic controllers who want to be part of the FAA. And President Trump signed a very strong executive order to ensure that the FAA and all federal government agencies are focused on merit and skill-based hiring. We want the best and the brightest, the most competent individuals in positions, especially of public safety at the FAA, the Department of Transportation, and all departments across this federal government so we can best serve the American people.
So, how many centenarians are there in the United States? According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the true population of the U.S. aged 100 and over in 2020 was approximately 80,000. Individuals aged 110 and above are referred to as supercentenarians. This is a subgroup that is exceedingly rare. As of February 2025, the Gerontology Research Group reported that 136 Americans belong to this category. However, millions of people are recorded as centenarians and supercentenarians in the U.S. Social Security database. Elon Musk released data from the U.S. Social Security database showing that there are over 20 million enrollees aged 100 and older. Of these, more than 3.9 million are aged 130 to 139, more than 3.5 million are aged 140 to 149, and more than 1.3 million are aged 150 to 159. Last time, we said that more than a dozen elderly Social Security recipients were over 150 years old. The figures at that time were not comprehensive, but they were already shocking enough to everyone, and the numbers that Musk released this time around are even more jaw-dropping. There are over 12,000 people aged 160 to 169 years old. There are more than 1,000 people who are 220 to 229 years old. The oldest group is from 360 to 369 years old. Today, the world's longest life record holder is an elderly French lady who passed away in 1997 at the age of 122 and 164 days. But no one realized that there are tens of millions of people over that age in the United States, according to the Social Security records. Elon Musk joked that maybe the movie Twilight is real and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. When Musk's team demanded access to critical information that could have revealed widespread abuse and fraud at the Social Security Fund, Acting Commissioner Michelle King, who was appointed last month, tried to block it. As a result, Michelle King was forced to step down over the weekend. President Trump named Leland Dedek, who was the manager in charge of the Social Security Administration's Office of Counter Fraud, as the acting director. President Trump's nominee for permanent director, Frank Bisignano, will be vetted by the Senate. An announcement regarding this is expected this week. Administration officials have also expressed skepticism about career employees' efforts to protect federal information. They argue that political appointees should also be able to access the information, especially when necessary in order to root out wasteful or erroneous spending. White House officials said that Musk's associates were properly vetted and they had the proper security clearances before they were appointed to the official positions at the organization that they helped vet. Annual spending on Social Security alone is nearly $1.5 trillion.
There was an Inspector General audit last year that showed over an 8-year period, the Social Security Administration made almost $72 billion in improper payments, a little less than 1% of payments in that time period. Now, the report also says that most of these improper payments were overpayments, not payments to deceased people or people who didn't qualify to receive these payments. At the same time, Jose, this effort by DOGE is to go through this agency like every other and try to weed out waste and fraud.
Yeah, I mean, and also $72 billion, and that's without a comprehensive search. I mean, that's significant.
Conservatives have long pointed to the rampant abuse of disability and retirement benefits that Democrats refuse to address. Though when checks are being sent to people who have been dead for hundreds of years, it goes well beyond just abuse by the recipients of benefits. Some people have claimed that DOGE is going after the American people's Social Security checks and benefits. However, Caroline Leavitt denied these claims. She explained in an interview on Fox News why and how the operations by DOGE are all about identifying the fraud at the Social Security Administration and securing the people's benefits.
President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the DOGE team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments. And so their goal in going into the Social Security Administration is to identify three things. Number one, to identify duplicate payments and to end them. Number two, to identify payments that are going to deceased people who are no longer living and should no longer be receiving that money. And number three, to protect the integrity of this system for hardworking Americans who have been paying into it their entire lives. So rest assured to all of the people watching your show tonight, if you paid into the system honestly, you will continue to receive your Social Security checks.
Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, also sounded the alarm in an interview about a massive foreign fraud operation that has siphoned off billions of dollars in taxpayer-funded benefits using fake IDs and fake social security numbers. Miller said, "There's no way to know until DOGE gains full access exactly how much money we're talking about." Today, Miller also explained in an interview on CNN that Musk does not have the authority to make decisions.
So who is in charge of DOGE?
The President of the United States.
He's the administrator of DOGE?
No, the DOGE is what was formerly U.S. Digital Services. It's an agency of the federal government that reports into the Executive Office of the President, which reports to the President of the United States.
Okay.
The way that Article 2 works is the President wins an election, and then he appoints staff, including myself, including Mike Waltz, including Susie Wiles, including Elon Musk, and those staff report to him.
Yesterday, the White House also said that President Trump is in charge of DOGE. They also pointed this out, that Elon Musk is not in charge of DOGE in new court filings that are part of a court case that was brought by the Attorney General of Arizona. The case alleges that the authority that Musk has is unconstitutional, but he does not have the authority. The president does. The defense's court filing stated that Elon Musk is not an employee of DOGE, and he does not have the authority to make decisions. White House official Joshua Fisher said in one of the documents that both DOGE and a subunit of DOGE are separate from the White House office. This office employs Musk as a special government employee who is a senior advisor to President Trump. Fisher remarked that Musk has no greater authority than other senior White House advisors. He said Musk can only advise the president and communicate the president's directives. Today, Musk won another lawsuit. In the lawsuit, New Mexico and other states had asked U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan to block DOGE and Elon Musk from the Office of Personnel Management, the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Energy, the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Commerce, but Chutkan turned down their request. Judge Chutkan found that the states had not met the bar for relief, so DOGE has access. DOGE discovered an identification code linking U.S. Treasury payments to a budget line item, which accounts for nearly $4.7 trillion in payments, which was barely traceable. The identification code is called the Treasury Access Symbol, or TAS. According to the Bureau of Fiscal Service, TAS codes are used to describe any one of the account identification codes that are assigned by the Treasury. It's also referred to as the account. All financial transactions made by the federal government are classified by TAS when reporting to the Treasury and to the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB. It is a standard financial process to fill up the TAS. This enables the auditor to understand the expenses paid and for which item. However, there are $4.7 trillion in U.S. Treasury payments, which TAS was often left blank, making traceability almost impossible. The discovery came on the same day that DOGE had populated the DOGE.gov savings page with information that as of Monday evening, the total estimated savings since the department's launch was about $55 billion. Yesterday, we reported that a single coffee mug from the Department of Defense costs over $1,000, and you must be thinking, what a great business to be a supplier to the Department of Defense. But there are even businessmen with close ties to the CCP among Defense Department suppliers. This is tantamount to the Department of Defense using huge sums of taxpayers' money to subsidize the CCP. According to the Daily Caller, a defense contractor that supplies parts to the U.S. military aircraft and advises the U.S. government on supply chain security, is owned by an immigrant with close ties to the CCP. The supplier is New York-based S&L Aerospace Metals, which was awarded tens of millions of dollars in defense contracts by the Department of Defense. The company also serves as an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security's Critical Manufacturing Council. However, the company's CEO, Jerry Wang, has been identified by the Chinese Communist government and official media as an official of several Chinese Communist influence and intelligence agencies. This has raised concerns about the defense contractor's high-level ties to the CCP, including links to CCP leader Xi Jinping. Through his lawyer, Wang has denied any links to foreign political entities, but he has not denied that he has appeared at numerous official events of the Chinese government and Chinese intelligence agencies and has been photographed with high-ranking Chinese officials. L.J. Eads, a former U.S. Air Force intelligence analyst, said, allowing someone with Wang's background access to the inner workings of U.S. supply chains and critical manufacturing vulnerabilities is a glaring national security failure. It's incredibly naive to think that the CCP will play by the rules when we hand them a front row seat to our most sensitive industries. During his time leading S&L, Jerry Wang was recognized as a member of several CCP United Front work departments, which is one of the main agencies that is used by the CCP to conduct overseas influence activities and intelligence work. Chinese government records and official media reports indicate that Jerry Wang is a director of the China Overseas Friendship Association, or COFA. According to the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, this association is an important platform for the United Front Work Department to solicit and reach out to overseas United Front Work targets. In May of 2019, Wang appeared at the COFA General Assembly in Beijing, applauding with Xi Jinping. And in June of 2019, he was officially listed as a vice chairman of COFA's Zhejiang section, and he was photographed on the podium with other COFA officials. Additionally, Jerry Wang has attended Xi Jinping's welcoming events in New York on several occasions, dating as far back as May of 2006, when he organized a welcoming banquet for Xi Jinping. According to Chinese official media, during the banquet, he presented Xi Jinping with a statue of a bald eagle, and he posed for a photograph with him holding up a piece of calligraphy. Nonetheless, an S&L spokesperson said Mr. Wang has not joined any organization that serves the CCP or the United Front Work Department. However, when Wang's lawyer, Christopher E. Chang, was shown 13 photographs of Wang in the same frame with high-ranking CCP officials, and when Wang was asked if he denied the authenticity of the photographs, his lawyer replied with a single word, no. One of these photographs appeared in a March 2011 Chinese government bulletin showing Wang in Beijing with the Chinese Communist Party's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs and other overseas representatives at the Chinese People's Political Consultant Conference. The U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission noted that conference members attend high-level meetings and they receive instructions from the CCP on policy direction, and they act as agents of the CCP's interests. The Commission's bylaws go so far as to require delegates to promote the implementation of national foreign policy and to take advantage of the Commission's strength as a United Front organization, and to keep state secrets. Michigan Republican Representative John Moulinar, the chairman of the House Select Committee on the CCP, said, "Our defense industrial base is dangerously dependent on our foremost adversary. Reports that individuals linked to the CCP United Front are in control of key U.S. defense contracts are shocking. No entity or individual affiliated with the CCP United Front, an organization dedicated to advancing CCP interests, should ever have been allowed to infiltrate our defense supply chains. This is likely just the tip of the iceberg, and we must urgently address these vulnerabilities to safeguard our national security." In our special program for the new year, we talked about British psychic Craig Hamilton Parker's views on this year's fortunes. Parker told us that he had seen a beautiful dance like a flower in his dream. He said that this dance will change the world. Recently, one of our audience members recommended a recent interview with Parker.
I had a dream about this whole show years ago, which I mentioned on my channel, and I saw in a dream a desolate place, and in it there stood a Chinese building on stilts, and I was going through all the mud and went into this place, and there was this beautiful dance called the Dance of the Flowers. And it seems to me that the energy that's in this whole dance and this performance is much more than just what meets the eye. That behind it, there's the energy, the flow of what I suppose you can call chi or prana in India, or the energy force that's being expressed here in a beautiful way that goes much, much deeper than what you just see in the dance. Because this is like a cosmic dance, as far as I'm concerned.
The performance that Parker was talking about is Shenyun Performing Arts. We have mentioned Shenyun in our program many times, but as a psychic, Parker sees things a little differently.
And also these stories of working towards enlightenment and awakening and the divine within people, I thought it was lovely, a lovely way of putting it. And I wish each culture of the world could find its heart like that. China needs to find its heart like that. China needs to be able to find its past inspiration that we can find from its history. And so too here in the West, and so too in each country. We need to get back to the roots of what makes us a people. And that is often comes through art, and through art we reach out to spirituality.
Parker mentioned that we are at a critical moment in history. We are on the eve of a new era.
And sadly, so much of this has been squashed in China as we enter, have we been in the dark age? But I do feel that we are in a time now where more and more people are awakening, and more people worldwide, through their own different flowers, as it were, are awakening. And this is a very important time, I think, for humanity that we're in at the moment. And what you're doing is very much part of that process, I feel. I feel we are on the threshold of a new era. They say the darkness comes before the dawn, don't they? And my feeling is that we have been through a very dark age of deep materialism. And people are feeling the shallowness of that. You know, I think there's an awful lot of nervous breakdown in the world.
So how can we be ready, and how can we welcome in the new era?
What we're needing to do is get back to the heart of things, get back to the simplicity of who we are as beings. And I think in this show, there's a lot being expressed of that idea. Something that I feel is coming out more and more people in different ways. I will say it's like this. It's like, you know, when the great age of enlightenment comes, it doesn't come as a great beaming light. It comes with lots of little lights waking up one at a time around the world. And this is one of those lights that reaches many people. I'd say absolutely beautifully done.
And that's a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for your support of Front Page. Please remember that every like, comment, and share helps more people to see the truth. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, we thank you, but please double check to make sure that you're still subscribed, because some of our audience have reported that they're somehow unsubscribed without their knowledge. We've also heard that some of you don't get notifications of our videos anymore from YouTube. So when you do subscribe on YouTube, please make sure to tap the notification bell as well. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard today, please don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family, because everybody deserves to know the truth.